Hi friends, David here from Learn Christmas Lighting. Hoping you can hear me okay over the dogs and whatnot. Because what I want to do today is not only just sit on this tree stump in my front yard, but also talk about our display this year, give you a little insight, and hopefully the audio works out great. I'll try to stay close to the camera as we speak so that you can hear everything that's going on. So this year, new house, started pretty much from scratch on the display. I mean, literally, like when we talk about things that we kept from previous years, snowflakes, the singing faces that I haven't used as much as I should, the Dominar beams on the roof, and that's really it. Everything else is new, everything else I built this year, and it was a really stinking busy year. If you've ever bought a house while having small children and sold a house, oh my goodness. So the fact that we got to show up in itself is great. Oh, actually, and also the matrix panels that are hanging. Those are the Boscoyo modular matrix panels, these black ones that are vertical. The camera wants to focus on me though. But other than that, everything else is new. And so I just wanted to show you what we did, kind of some of the challenges and things that came up and how we overcame them. So we've got, first of all, let's go to the start. Here from the road, not only did the neighbor's dog see me, which means it's barking and the show is on, but we got our arches and our minivan. But the arches are new this year. We used the Boscoyo Medium Arch. Did a great tutorial. You can check this out here on how to build them. And the biggest thing I found with these is definitely get the rebar stakes. I tried some different stakes from the hardware store. No, it was bad. Get the rebar stakes or cut rebar, make your own stakes. In terms of hammering and staking them, get a heavier hammer than your standard regular old hammer. I found that to help a ton, because then you can drive them in evenly and you don't get what we've got, which if you look down the line here, let's move it real quick. You can probably see how bad my arches look and how they're all over the place, but guess what? People still love them. It doesn't matter, it's Christmas, okay? Next, we've got our mini trees, the Boscoyo mini trees, and we have staked them in the ground with tomato stakes. Now, these tomato stakes we found for these guys are actually, we found them on Amazon. I did a couple years ago for something else, actually some piece stakes that I did with them, and but they are just like I think they're like a fiberglass, they're green, and so they're not metal, really lightweight, but for something small like these 180-degree trees that we stuck here in the yard from Boscoyo, they're perfectly fine. They hold them down, everything's good. I would have to say with everything in the display this year, we've had multiple severe weather warnings, high wind situations where I was really concerned biting my nails and stuff. And we've had no wind-related casualties at all. Everything's been solid. So that's a huge blessing and awesome. All right, let's take a look at the next thing. So here we have our Dominar Lempas, one of our Dominar products from Learn Christmas Lighting. This is the lamp-based beam fixture that comes in the dome. These have been working great this year, completely waterproof. We got the custom model all worked out for you guys. Really just a great light if you're looking for something in a dome, which, you know, I like the regular Dominars, the LED version, the 300s that are up on the roof. You know, they're an awesome fixture. These come in a little bit lower cost. Of course, you got the dome to handle. But if you live in a place where you do get a lot of snow, then this is kind of your best bet. Because the dome keeps the snow off the fixture. It can't get blocked in by the snow. And then also, being a lamp-based unit, the heat that they generate and that comes out of the beam will melt your snow and ice off your dome. Which is a problem with the Dominar being the LED version. There's so many advantages to the LED, but in those snowy environments, these guys are just a little bit better. We'll just take a quick stop here. Having these big hedges was new to me, but I went ahead and put some floods on them, just 10 watt and 20 watt, and I got some 30 watt ones, but I turned them down a lot. And you know, that's something I'm definitely going to improve upon next year, is more floods, because these hedges with some basic floods on them just really pop and give you an interesting dynamic in the show that is just a different look than just the pixel or the moving head look. And I love that it's another layer that we can use to make a really interesting show. On the front porch here, we can see the Mattos Designs RGB trim that we've run across the whole front of the house. This stuff has performed flawlessly for us this season. You can see it's on right now in daylight, and you can even see it a little bit. Awesome stuff. just really great stuff. What I did end up doing initially, I know in the video where I reviewed it, told you about putting it up, I told you that I did hang it with mounting tape, and that even though the mounting tape was rated for the amount of weight of the strip, we ended up having issues where the problem was if one started to fall and then it dropped, it would yank the others down because you get that shock force from one falling, and it would just pull the whole strip down. So went in, I mean really, even with the mounting tape pre-applied, it kind of helped because it holds the track up, and I just went in each segment, 2 screws, boom, right into the plywood or whatever is above it, and it rocked, and it's rocked and rolled since. So should have done that to begin with. It wasn't that hard. Just used a simple Bryobe impact, but a regular drill could probably work too. Some weather rated galvanized screws, boom, done. And those have been hanging out great. This is also a good point to mention that we have the icicles on either side. I think the icicles are one of my favorite pixels that are not kind of the typical pixel. Let me see if I can break myself up a little bit here. Whoop. The icicles are kind of not the typical pixel, but I really like them a lot. I get these are the waterfall tubes from Wally's lights. They're just stinking awesome. They work really well, and I think they give your show a cool look that you don't get from the regular pixel shape. Here we are at our P5 sign. I admit I didn't use as much as I should, but it's a great Tune 2 sign. This full enclosure we did earlier this year, you may have seen the video with your pixel store, and it's performed flawlessly. These enclosures that they put out, you know, are supposedly waterproof, and we've tested it this season. It's been very, very rainy. It's been very, very rainy, and we've had no failures at all. All the panels work. If this ever, you know, it's never died or anything like that. It's been working great all season long. Now we're at the Mega Tree. This, guys, if you saw the video, I made this out back. It's been working flawlessly, but I thought this would be a good place to stop, check if I'm overexposed, not too bad, and talk about the controller layout for my show this year. So, you know, what I like to do, which is a little different than you, the average person, is I like to have a lot of controllers out, try out all the different brands of controllers, keep everything, you know, keep one of kind of each brand in the system. Even though it's probably overkill for what we want to do, it's a good testing ground. So we've got on the corner of the house up there a Pi that runs the whole show. I just did that personally because I found that my FM transmitter, I used the whole house transmitter 3.0. I found that it really liked being up, and that is the case a lot of time. And I didn't have a controller up, so I just went ahead and we'll turn the camera actually. I just went ahead and don't know if you can see it, but on the corner of the house there, I just put a Cable Guard CG1500, literally just sat it on the edge of the roof. FM transmitter and Pi is in there. That is it. All right, back to me. Then from there, that Pi has an Ethernet wire to a Falcon on the front porch, an F48, old school F48 V3. I guess it's not that old. And so that one's wired to the Pi, so the Pi sends that data out individually, and then the Pi, of course, is the primary for the show that is running everything. So in the Mega Tree here, we have the Kurt controller, the PB16, is that right? No, PB32, I believe it's called. We'll make sure to link it below in our review of it. It's been performing flawlessly, great to work with, great controller. And I just literally threw all that stuff in one of those socket boxes, those wet boxes, done. Okay, that one is also doing the DMX to many of my moving heads, at least the 2 over here, and the rest of them are coming off the Falcon just for ease of use. Then the other side of the porch and everything over on that side. So everything on the right side of the yard, as I consider it, past the center sidewalk, basically from here, is all on a Culp K8. And the reason why I did that was in this sidewalk in the middle and the pull path to the front door, I didn't want any cables going across, and we don't have any. So it basically splits the yard in two, controllers wise, so that we don't have any cables going across. Of course, they're working wirelessly via FPP, via the player and remote modes. and everything is dandy as cotton candy. So in terms of the show this year, again, last thing is the Dominar beam IPs on the roof. Whenever I do get to shooting a show video and we get it out, if not by now, you will see the Dominar beam IPs. Those are great. And with having a slightly shallower roof pitch at this home, the cool thing about that is I can actually shine them down on the roof, and because it's a cold beam, there's never any risk of fire or anything like that. It gets a cool look, able to wash on the roof, pop the prism in, get a really interesting look there. But in terms of like what I did, what I wish I did differently, regrets for this year, etc., my biggest regret definitely is, I had more singing faces, I wanted to spend more time sequencing, just didn't get there. But, we ended up with a display, with a show that we're happy with. Friends come, it brings joy to their hearts. Neighbors come, it's a great way to meet people. And it's been all good. I've got no regrets. Definitely plans for next year. If you haven't already, check out my video. We'll link to it below about how to plan what to add next. I'm going to fill in the lawn a lot more. Okay, so right now, like from where these trees go to the mega tree, it's probably 20 feet of just openness. I'm thinking right now, I want to do a bunch of mini trees and just do a grid. I'm going to do a grid on diagonals, like I've got them set here. And I think that'll look really cool. Actually, let's take a look at that quick. So right now, and hopefully this isn't too overexposed, you can probably see, I hope you could see. We're gonna turn it. Let's turn it. Try that again. So right now, as you can probably see, I just went diagonal with my mini trees in my front yard. Because it's so flat from the street to the front door, I thought that's a great idea to make it so that wherever you are, pretty much, you can see all 4 of those trees, mini trees, going back. None of them are blocking the other one. So next year, I want to bring in a grid, maybe instead of 4 deep, maybe go 6 deep. I am also going to bring my arches back because we do on-street parking here. There's no sidewalk, and they're just a little too close, in my opinion. But I want to do a grid of these guys. So maybe 4, maybe up to 6 deep, and then repeat. Do the same on the other side until the hill really falls off. Other than that, I'm really happy with the show. It's a lot of fun. I know there's always places to expand, always things you can do, like I can cover my roof and stuff, etc. But at the end of the day, my biggest message and my biggest thing to you guys is, you don't have to worry about outdoing everybody else on the internet. At the end of the day, it's not a competition. Okay, maybe a friendly competition, but we want you to have fun. We want you to have a great time. We want you to bring joy to your neighbors and enjoy this hobby. So don't get in over your head. What I did here, some people might say is simplistic, but it's something to build on, right? The hardest part of this hobby always is building up your props, getting them ready. And then when you're setting up props year to year, the same props, it's not really that much time, right? It's a lot simpler than when you're building them from scratch. So, if you're new to this, or maybe you've done it in a few years, you're starting to get burnt out, I'd say, hey, just don't worry about building new stuff. Keep that to a minimum so that you can really focus on sequencing, importing great sequences, and, having fun. Because ultimately, what's more fun than that? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new here, grab my free guide on the 3 things I wish I knew before I started with Christmas lighting over at learningchristmaslighting.com, and be sure to subscribe, and we will see you guys in our next video. Thanks.